where Australia made a rule that anybody below the age of 16 won't have access to social media, you know? And this is based on the complaints and also what we see on social media, the content that we see that our kids are exposed to. So we decided we will not have this conversation on our own. We will get somebody who deals with kids and who understands everything about tech. Nasim Geni, Hebron is in studio one more time. Hebron, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good. Karibu sana. Happy to see you.
Happy to see you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always anatuletenga a lot of words of wisdom. First of all, Hebron, with the rule that Australia made, what do you think about it?
For me, I support because probably they must have done a lot of research. It is based on facts. And when you see such a developed country like that one coming up with such a rule, or rather such an act,
yes,
there must be so much they have seen, which they believe whatever now they have passed,
yes,
will now arrest whatever they were undergoing. Because I believe in such countries, they'll have, of course, legislation. So it will pass through the popular initiative. Probably people will be asked, maybe a referendum, maybe it goes to the parliament, and then the representatives vote, and then now it is passed. So
I'm just going to read it for you.
Yeah.
So Australia's parliament has passed a world first law banning social media for children under the age of 16.
Yeah.
And this is putting tech companies on notice to tighten security before a cutoff date that's yet to be set. And this is going to affect, the ban is expected to apply to Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, and X.
Yeah.
Yes, but wanasema the list could expand.
Yeah.
You've talked about this is based on the repercussions zenye wameona.
Yeah.
What are these repercussions?
There is a lot that is happening that probably goes unreported. Like, for example, in Kenya, they say anytime a kid gets into a social media page or goes online, there are around 9,000 pedophiles ready to pounce. 9,000. But most parents don't know this. And that is why they get preyed on, and probably it goes with a lot of distraction on the side of the kids. So some of the things probably they have seen is maybe deteriorated mental health of these kids, and probably the aggressive nature in terms of behavior of these kids. Because sometimes they get exposed to information and then they take it without even maybe doing a lot of research on that information they're receiving.
Yeah.
For example, there's a program I was seeing somewhere, how to kill your mother, something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So you can imagine if such information goes out there in the internet and a kid of maybe grade 4 or 5 comes across that and probably get engrossed into such a program or such information, they'll go ahead and try it.
Oh, child.
Yeah. So these kids will get information, yes, but their way of verifying that information is very low. It's not like us who are adults. Sometimes we'll fact check if it is a photo. Like right now, there are so many AI generated videos. You saw of Okio Mtata. Yeah, that was AI generated. And you can see it has been leaked out there. And I've gone into several social media pages and I've seen people castigating Okio Mtata that akona tabia mbaya. But at the end of the day, they don't know that has been AI generated. So the generative AI part, it needs people who really understand. So that verification of information probably is something that Australia saw. And then now other many destructive things probably which they have seen, like body shaming. Yeah, we have seen people paraded. Your photo is taken, it is edited, and then it is posted there as if you are naked. Yeah.
And so we do commend what Australia has done, but now let's bring it home. We have kids here.
Yeah.
You know? Why are we seeing a space where everything is just unregulated in Kenya. Kila kitu iko kila mahali. You get onto TikTok, you get on. It's for a parent who has a kid, when you're raising your kid and you see what's going on social media, it's very scary. Would we even get to a space in Kenya in tunafanya regulations on these tech companies?
That's a good question. I'm not an expert in terms of the legal provisions of probably communication, but I will tell you what I know. The Communication Authority of Kenya does a lot when it comes to maybe the regulations. And also, we have the cyber security. Is it Cyber Security Act? Yes. It has a lot when it comes to misuse of computers. We have seen now the loopholes probably are the way some of these legal provisions are maybe stated. Like we have these parody accounts. So somebody can set a parody account and then posts malicious information. But now tracing that person may take very long. You saw the other day somebody who posted something about the president that is dead and that he was being paraded by the gun carrier. And he was arraigned in court. But again, now prosecuting such a case is very technical because you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this person broke the law. So in Kenya, we have regulations, yes. But again, the legal provisions to really nick these people and take them to account is maybe what is lacking. Because I can assure you, we have very solid laws that govern what happens in social media, or rather what happens in these platforms. For example, there is something maybe probably you and I have been doing without knowing that we are breaking the law. We come across a video of maybe a child who is being caned by a teacher. And then the same video is now forwarded into several groups. We reshare. Now that is breaking the law.
Very true.
Okay. Let's bring it now to effects of social media on the young ones. What are they?
There are several. We can categorize them into two. And the word effects is a double-edged sword. Is both on positive and on the negative. So today we shall look at both. The negative,
good and the bad.
And the good and the bad. So we'll start with the good. There are communities. We have online communities where these children can find themselves in. In psychology, there is something we call the hierarchy, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which says that every human being needs a sense of belonging. If right now in Swahili Pot FM, watu wamue kukutenga, I can assure you may not even last a week here.
True.
So every human being needs that sense of belonging. And that is why sometimes you have groups. And these groups somehow serve a purpose of a sense of belonging. So when our kids get into such communities and groups, they feel they belong somewhere. And they share a lot, which does so much when it comes to their mental health. So, for example, if somebody has maybe depression or maybe stress, they're able to share there and they'll be helped, because it becomes now a safe space for them to share whatever they're undergoing. So that is a positive side, because we have that community of practice, or rather a sense of belonging. The other one is learning, of course. We have several groups where materials for them to learn are shared. Like right now, we are in holidays. I'm sure there are several groups which have been created by schools where now these learners are being sent, the materials are being dropped into those groups. So these learners are given a chance to maybe work out some sums and then share in those platforms. For example, WhatsApp. I remember in 2020 when we had COVID and the restrictions, I was managing a project somewhere and we used so much WhatsApp, where we rallied the learners to work on maybe different sums, maybe in chemistry or physics or biology or mathematics, and then they used to teach each other. So if I work on a sum, then a screenshot, and then I share in the page, and then it creates now a discussion. it starts a discussion. So whoever had not understood, then I'm able to reshare so that they'll be able to understand. So that helps them to learn and even to have that global aspect of whatever is happening out there. So the other part is research. Yeah, it gives them a platform to dig deeper on the subject matter. Let's say it is on patriotism.
Okay.
They are able to dig deeper and maybe ask how patriotism is being viewed in other countries. So if we are in a community of practice, where we maybe East African countries, then I'm able to ask Tanzanians, how do you perceive patriotism there?
And I think yes, there's a good bit of it. Australian government has taken that responsibility. Tutakuja to say, Kenyan government, let's have
something.
measures, find a way to regulate content, you know, find a way to regulate content, regulate these apps, you know, that we have in the country. But what is my role as a parent in taking care, in ensuring that my child is protected from all this?
First of all, is the parent to be educated themselves. They need to take time and go through these platforms and really understand what happens in there. Like when you look at our programs, maybe in television, we have what we call the watershed period. At let's say 10 p.m. is when now we have programs being aired, which are of course age appropriate. But now for the social media aspect, is the parents need really to understand what is in there. Like, why do we have YouTube and then YouTube for kids? What is the difference between these two? But again, parents will just expose kids to the normal YouTube and bypass the other one. So rule number one, let the parent understand. Let them research. Do a lot of research and education and learn what happens in these different social media platforms. Then after they have understood that, it is easier now for them to disseminate the same information to their children. Because you cannot educate somebody on something you're not sure of. Yeah. I can tell you, majority of these parents cannot tell their kids about these social media platforms because they don't know what happens there. In fact, right now, ukitafuta mtoto wa grade 4, umuulize about TikTok, they know it better than the parent themselves. Yeah. So that is the first thing. Because there are questions which will arise that will need you now to guide the learner, or rather the kid, on whatever is happening in these social media pages. Yeah. Let them understand that this is how they operate. They are age appropriate, and therefore, even if you want to get here, kuna age yako ama kuna time yako itafika. So one, let them educate, let them learn what happens. Number two, let them be role models. I will stick on that. Let them be role models. Whatever I do is whatever my kid will do.
That is true.
As Wazungu say, show me your friend and I'll show you who
you are.
Yes, exactly. So that is, our kids is just a reflection of who we are. You go to school, the image your kid portrays in school is exactly who you are at home. Hata ukatae aje. Yeah. You may say
tunasemanga hiyo tabia yangu mimi.
No.
Imetoka wapi?
That is your reflection. Yeah.
Jamen, mbona
we run away from it, Hebron.
Yeah, sure.
We are so good at running away from it. You know?
Yeah.
Because you say, no, I don't know where she picked this from.
Yeah.
I don't know where he picked this from. This is not
but
me.
maybe I don't know where he picked that from. That is not me.
Yeah, ndio hiyo kukataa.
Lakini bro, that's not me.
You know, I'll tell you, there's something psychology inaitwa Johari's window.
Yes.
Kindly take time to go and look at it. Their behaviors.
Umesema inaitwa
Johari's window.
Yeah, okay.
Kuna tabia zenye sisi tunajua tuko nazo.
Yes.
Na wenzetu wanazijua.
Yeah.
Kuna tabia zenye wenzetu wanajua tuko nazo.
Yes.
Na sisi hatujui. That is where the catch is. Tabia zenye wenzetu wanajua tuko nazo. Na sisi hatujui. And that is actually the bigger percentage of who we are.
Yeah.
Because tukiwa kwa watu, we mask zile tabia zenye tunajua tuko nazo na wenzetu wanajua. Lakini kuna zile tabia zenye wenzetu wanajua tuko nazo na sisi hatujui. Hizo ndo zinajitokeza wakati tuko na wenzetu.
Okay.
Yeah. Johari's window.
It's very...
The habits I know you have
Sure.
that you do not know that you have.
True.
Okay.
Yes, Salim.
So ndio hiyo sasa unaweza ambiwa mtoto wako ana hasira. Akiwa na hasira anapiga wenzake. So umewondering hii tabia imetoka wapi? Kumbe it is you being reflected by the kid.
Could it be me ama amechukua from the dad? Can we just play that game kidogo?
No. Tuache hiyo. Hiyo no. We are not going that route.
You know, because parents always say, they're like, well, this habit is not
mine.
It's not mine. Iko kwa familia yetu.
Yeah.
Labda iko kwa familia ya babake. Labda iko kwa familia ya mamake.
Mamake.
You know?
I think for me I'll be a bit religious. There was a time Jesus aliuliza his disciples, who do people say I am? Wakamwelezea. Then akawauliza, and who do you say I am?
I am, yeah.
I think we should be taking time to be asking those two questions. Even ask our kids. Even ask people out there.
Yeah.
Who do people say I am?
Unajua umesema kitu hapo.
Yeah.
So kuna kitu ilifanyika shule.
Yes.
And hiyo hapana.
Sema tu ni nini ilifanyika shule. Hebron will tell you kama ni wewe.
Alipatikana na sigara. And I don't. So
Sasa ukichunguza vizuri utagundua it might not be you. But probably somebody very close to you.
Could it be the friends?
Exactly. Maybe a friend, maybe an uncle, maybe somebody very close. Because hizo tabia wao wanazichukua. By the way, let me tell you, there is what we call the hierarchy or the pecking order. Unaona mtoto huwa tabia zinakuwa imposed on them by a higher authority.
Yeah.
Kama wewe mtoto wako 60% ama 70% of the behaviors ako nazo ni wewe umeimpose.
That one I agree.
Yes. Sasa utagundua probably mwenye alimfanya paka akafanya hivyo ni somebody very close to you. So anaona hiyo ni sawa kwake.
Now I have to go to Kirinyaga.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Nitaenda because huku
Yeah.
hakuna.
Yeah.
What are we looking at, Hebron?
Yeah.
In terms of, because I'm seeing it all goes back to now your role as a parent.
Yeah.
We've seen kids raising kids.
Yeah.
Now this kid doesn't know any better. You know, a young person, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, you know, raising another child.
Yeah.
How do we break this cycle?
Yeah. Outreaches and creating of awareness. Like, for example, what you are doing.
Okay.
I really applaud
Thank you.
Swahili Pot FM
Thank
for what you are doing. I'm very sure this is reaching so many parents out there. And like, for example, we must now decide. Like the way we have 16 days of activism against GBV.
Yeah.
Why don't we create 10 days activism of what? Stopping the negative effects of social media on children.
Yeah.
This is something that can be done. Probably I've given you a challenge. You can do that as Swahili Pot.
Yeah.
And probably Take Kids Africa, we can take that.
Yes.
So that for those 10 days, we ensure that we raise awareness. We go to churches, we go to barazas, we go to schools, and ensure that we disseminate this information. Because even the Bible says, watu wangu wanaangamia kwa kukosa maarifa.
Information.
Yes,
knowledge.
information. Ignorance.
Yeah.
Majority of people don't know what is happening. And that is why they are vulnerable. And let me tell you, this is a multi-billion business. Whatever Facebook is earning from your ignorance is so much. whatever TikTok is earning from our ignorance is immense. These companies are actually fighting each other on the revenue they're raising. I do tell people, it is only social media companies and drug users who refer to their clients as users.
Oh.
You're being used. You're being used.
Very painful.
But
true.
You may hit.
They don't refer to us as clients or customers.
Yeah.
We are users.
Yeah.
So we'll be used because we don't know what happens. Yeah. Right now, majority of people have bloodshot eyes, not because they were born like that. They chatted the whole night. Our sleep patterns have been disrupted. We have a lot of distractions. People cannot even concentrate in a 1 hour meeting.
Because, it becomes addictive.
Yes.
And you see, when you're on social media and you're scrolling, and there's something that I see that happens a lot, because you're on your phone, saa zingine, you're not doing anything meaningful. You're just scrolling up. Hujasoma, you're actually just scrolling up.
Unashuka chini tu.
Yes, not knowing.
And until then when the phone hits up.
Yes, when you put it down, you pick it up again.
Yeah. I talked about the dopamine hit the other day. Yeah. That is it. If you're able to lower your dopamine hit, uko sawa. And by the way, I'm not a medical doctor, but I will tell you, there is a correlation between our immunity levels and the dopamine hit. Ikiendelea kupanda sana to ungovernable levels, it can even now spill over to bring us some disorders. For example, blood pressure inaweza anza increase because one aspect leads to another. Dopamine hit iko too much, it leads to anxiety. Too much anxiety leads to depression. Depression ikikuwa too much, it leads to something else. So it goes on like that. Kila disorder inapeana baton to the other until it gets to something even which cannot be governed. Yesterday I was talking to some youth somewhere. I was telling them, you people think that dealing with cancer is expensive. I will tell you, dealing with stress and depression is very expensive. Paying a counselor for a therapy is extremely expensive. Yeah. And people don't see the value of this. But at the end of the day, like what you are talking today, if your kid has been diagnosed with probably a mental problem and has been put into maybe psychosocial support to undergo sessions, therapy sessions, you will pay dearly. And very few parents can afford that. I was saying the other day, do you know why it is so difficult to rehabilitate somebody who is struck in poverty? Wale alcoholics wenye wako deep into alcoholism, kwa nini hawaendi rehab? Because it is expensive. It is only the wealthy who are able to take their kids to a rehab center. Because huwezi lipa hiyo pesa. So it means ukigongwa tayari na that, kama ni mental health breakdown ikikuchapa and you don't have the finances to do that, then it means utagongwa tena zaidi. So prevention is better than cure. For me, I will laud what the government has done. It has played their role. They have put regulations, they have put acts, they even have DCI and Child Protection Unit, they have CA, they have Parliament, they have
Zico.
Different watchdogs to do this. But again, we are the people who go ahead and misuse. So when you misuse, ile siku umesimama kwa dock, maybe it is your child who has been cyberbullied, that's when you start pointing fingers to the government and say, government tusaidie. And yet it is doing its wrong. So the first thing, let parents be educated. Waingie wasome hizo platforms, wazielewe. Let them learn the rules and regulations on how to do it. Let them educate their kid.
Thank you so much, Hebron. Always informative. You know, we kila siku. I come out different. Yeah, so thank you so much. We've been speaking to Hebron from Tech Kids Africa. And from us to you, we are saying bye. The kickoff wako tayari with Makanake and the boys from 11 all the way to, from 10 all the way to 11. And then later on, Swahili Pot Cafe, Dorcas Uwiera.